Hey, what up, what up, what up, Ticking Gray Bomb fam. Wanted to bring you another unboxing here. So this actually just came yesterday. Super excited to open up and show you what's happening in here. So without further ado, let's open this.
And what do we have inside? No surprise. I've been even keeping Mace out of this action, so again, the box feels somewhat camouflaged. All that bubble wrap. They took some care to wrap this guy. Let's see.
That's how you get this. Okay, so here we have it. This kind of gives away the identity of what we're talking about today. Attractive wristwatches from Furlan Marri. So who's Furlan Marri? Furlan Marri is a micro brand, has really taken the watch industry by storm over the last few years. Founded by Andrea Furlan, a Swiss national, who studied in Lausanne under some pretty prominent independent watchmakers, and Hamid El Marri, founded in 2019. They launched their first watches via Kickstarter about 2 years ago, chrono watches with mega quartz movements, and they quickly sold out. So at a price point of about $500 at the time, those pieces were regarded as some of the best value in the watch industry at the time. And so what we can say is over the last couple of years since that launch, a lot of folks have been noticing. So they've gotten positive feedback and significant praise from the likes of Andrew Morgan at Watchfinder, Wei Ko at Revolution Watch, and Marc-Andre Deschaux at Watches TV. And the piece de resistance of their accolades to date is that they won the Horological Revelation Award from GPHG in 2021. So, without further ado, let's see what we have inside these inner boxes. So, I guess, pretty basic. A watchcloth. We have, looks like a couple of pieces of paper inside this envelope. First is a certificate, which would appear to be kind of the warranty. So guarantee is valid for 2 years. Talks a little about the reference, nothing on the back. And then we have an archive for the future. Kind of date of manufacture, which I'm not sure is really up to date. I would like to think this watch was manufactured in 2022. Case diameter, case material, movement, which we'll look into just in a few minutes. Okay, so it looks like they've included an extra strap, which always is a nice give me. So you could see here actually has a signed clasp, which is a very nice touch. I'm told that their straps are made from either French or Italian leather. This would indicate 20 millimeter lug width. So nice little, and it looks like there's a quick release pin. So it's nice little value here, extra strap. So here's it looks like a clamshell inner box. Let's pop that open and see for the first time what we're going to chat about. So obviously signed box here, Furlan Marri, born in Geneva, and this is the reference 2154A Salmon sector dial. Let me pop this out so you guys can get a better look at, and we can talk a little bit further about. So, really gorgeous details, vintage inspired. So kind of further to that vintage heritage, the case diameter, right? It's 37.5, as we saw earlier, harkens back to a different era, particularly when so many folks are looking at still looking at big watches 42 mil and above. This definitely harkens back to a different era. Case material is the omnipresent 316L stainless steel and 10.5 millimeter thickness. So Mace would definitely be loving this watch in terms of profile relative to the West. 46 millimeter lug to lug. So, all in all, very compact, subtle, elegant design. Couple other nods from a attribute performance standpoint. Sapphire crystal with 5 layers of anti-reflective coating. And first I'm hearing of this, a top layer of anti-fingerprint coating. So I'm curious to see how that works in the real world. I haven't had too many issues with fingerprints on the crystal, particularly sapphire crystal, but I think that's a nice to have and something I'll monitor when in use. The movement is what Furlan Marri calls their G100. It's an automatic movement with 24 joules and 68 hours of power reserve, produced by La Joux Perret in Switzerland. It's owned by Citizen, but I'm told that they actually make movements for some high-end, high horology independent watchmakers. So that's a nice touch. We can take a look at the movement here right now before I put it on my wrist. So some perlage, nice engraving on the case back. You see the balance wheel. So again, so far so good from an aesthetic standpoint. And like I said, I will put that on my wrist right now. So a quick note about how I came into this piece. Obviously I referred to kind of all the positive buzz that Furlan Marri had been getting since its launch on Kickstarter. So definitely it was on my radar screen. I said I didn't really want another chronograph in the collection, and I definitely didn't want a mecha quartz piece in my collection. But I was interested in acquiring this sector dial when they announced it was going to be automatic. The first time around, actually, I missed it. It sold out very quickly. But I put myself on a wait list, and just last Monday I was informed that it was back in stock, so I purchased it that day, and I'm happy to say the very next day it was shipped out to me here in New York. So shipped via DHL, as you saw the package. Little hiccup in terms of customs clearance, but Furlan Marri was very actively engaged in helping provide the necessary documentation to help clear customs. I was very impressed by the speed of their response. So all in all, kind of last mile. The watch is great and it looks great, and the customer service was good. So all in all, kind of a good initial experience buying this watch from Furlan Marri. So a couple other comments I'd like to make when we look kind of aesthetically here, looking at the dial. And you can see it has slight stippling on the dial throughout. Definitely a sector dial, which harkens back to watches from the 1930s and 40s. Particularly reminiscent for me are references like the Omega reference 859 or the Patek reference 130A. Which I believe is a chrono, if I'm not mistaken, so slightly more complicated than this, but overall aesthetics are pretty spot on. I have to say, look at those applied Breguet numerals at the 12, 3, 6, and 9. Really gives the dial some nice depth. Very, again, I mean, from a orientation standpoint, looks to be spot on. Again, 3 hands. Watchfinder made the comment that the hands appear to be short. But again, when we take into account the fact that this is a sector dial, I think that makes sense. I mean, particularly have the hour, minute, and second hand layered like they are. I think it looks perfect. The case, again, I would say it's a good balance between high polish on the edges and kind of a brushed finished in the middle section there. and you look at those cow horn lugs, again, kind of harkening back to those vintage watches of the 40s. I think it really kind of nice touch there. So kind of a nod to the collection. There are three actually watches, or three references within the sector collection. There's this model, which I said is 2554A. There's the white version, 2161A, which I don't believe has any stippling. It's kind of a matte dial, white with some blue indices and blue hands. And then there's the 2145A, which is gray, which I think has some mixed stippling in there to kind of give it also kind of a richer textured finish. The price on this, we've talked a lot about value. The price on this is 1250 Swiss francs. That does not include VAT, which again, we're exempt in North America. But it does include shipping. So it was shipped free to me. With the conversion to USD, that's about $1,400, which again is not cheap, but also less than the mechanical Stova that I unboxed just about a month ago. So, again, from a value standpoint, I think this sector dial with its automatic movement, a high quality finishing, I think it does represent excellent value at this price point. And I definitely look forward to putting it through its paces here over the next couple of weeks as the opportunities permit themselves. So if you like this unboxing video and you want to see more watches like this, please smash that like button and subscribe. I appreciate you spending the time with us today, and bye-bye.